Welcome everyone to SaaS webinar. In this webinar, I'm going to cover high-level overview for the features delivered in the releases from PPM 9.60 through 9.64. So let's get started. So here is the agenda for today's presentation. Before jumping into the actual features in detail, I would like to provide a quick background information about the product investment pillars and how the features delivered in 9.6 releases fit under those pillars. Then we'll talk about these features mentioned here, right here, one after other. And at the end, as Juan mentioned, we'll have a Q&A session. So here are the 5 main investment pillars for PPM, or they are also called as strategic themes for PPM. They align with the current market trends and also to address current customer needs. Most of the enterprise customers are moving towards adopting agile methodologies. So PPM is also evolving to support in this space by delivering features in these 4 main areas, such as product and portfolio management, enterprise agile, teams cost and planning, and portfolio strategy. Although the center diamond representing UI and the platform initiatives looks smaller than the other areas, it has received constantly a very large size of effort. The features developed under this pillar are utilized by all other pillars, and that's why it is placed in the center. So this slide shows how the main features delivered in 9.6x releases are mapped to these main strategic themes. And we are going to discuss them in detail during this presentation. So at the high level, for product portfolio management, we have portfolio types and portfolio backlog views delivered. For enterprise agile, there is a scaled agile framework bundle, which is now available. For teams cost and planning, we can actually assign team members in the work plan. And there are portfolio strategic themes which are delivered as part of this portfolio strategy. So let's talk about the strategic themes. As agile tools play an increasingly dominant role in the execution of agile projects by self-organizing teams and their scrum masters, project manager's role has been changing to refocus one's contribution from project management to program and portfolio management. Planning disciplines are transitions from annual to continuous. Organizational structures change to maximize throughput via data-driven actionable feedback. To address this transition, PPM have introduced the concept of value-driven portfolios in the portfolio management, strategic themes, and portfolio optimization feature. The goal is to optimize portfolio investment in terms of budgets and resource allocations in order to deliver maximum ROI. So this is what this diagram represents, that the portfolio management is at the top, but it has visibility to the program management and the actual project management, and using the agile tools here. So let's talk about the strategic themes. Portfolio strategy is a roadmap by which enterprise can use their assets to achieve their financial goals. When portfolio is delivered, portfolio manager can define one or more strategic themes with it. There are 3 types of strategic themes. First one is the global strategic theme, which are defined usually at the company or enterprise level. Then there are parent strategic theme. And lastly, it's basically the strategic themes defined at the portfolio level. So in this example, there is an increased market share, which is strategic theme defined at the company level. Increased customer satisfaction is defined at the lifecycle management, which is a parent portfolio. And there are child portfolios, PPM portfolio and Octane portfolio. And if you see that the Octane portfolio has inherited the strategic theme from a company, which is a global strategic theme, as well as parent strategic theme. and it has its own strategic theme as improve SaaS efficiency. For PPM, it has its own portfolio strategic theme as improve adoption, and it also has adopted or inherited the global strategic theme, which is an increased market share. So basically, for the child portfolios, there is a choice given whether they want to inherit those strategic themes from global and parent portfolios. Now, let's talk about these new concepts. Now that we have talked about the concept, now let's look at how these features look in UI. So as a sub-portfolio manager, he can choose, so I'm in the portfolio management UI right now, and there is a strategy tab. So if you want to create new strategic themes, you have two choices. You can create a strategic theme for this particular portfolio, or you can copy from either for parent or global strategic theme. Only active strategic themes can be inherited, and you can inherit one or multiple strategic themes. The next is I would like to showcase these statuses for the strategic themes. And these are the three different icons that you may want and you may see. The first is the green with the check mark says it's in sync. This basically strategic theme is in sync with the source. The second one, the triangle, shows that the strategic theme is out of sync. And if you hover over to this particular icon, you will be able to see the more details about why it's out of sync. And the third is basically in case if the strategic theme from a parent is deleted for some reason, then it basically shows that it's basically the theme is deleted. That's why there is no relation for the strategic theme between this parent portfolio and the child portfolio. So here, actually, you can actually go in individual strategic theme, and then you will see those details. If you would like to sync from the source, you can use this button, and it will sync from the source and basically make both the strategic theme in sync. If you need to delete any strategic theme, you may do it using this button. If the parent strategic theme got deleted, it will break the relation between the parent strategic theme and the child. And in the child portfolio, you may notice the error message that is shown here, which says that it's no longer available, and then you can click to update the source of the portfolio to make it its own strategic theme for that particular portfolio. Now let's talk about the portfolio types and backlog views. Portfolio is a collection of investments or solution sets. Each organization uses different type of portfolios for different purposes. This can be mainly classified as, for example, project portfolios, product portfolios, or application portfolios. Each different type of portfolio has its own set of information to be looked at, and hence the concept of portfolio type is introduced. Portfolio types provides a convenient way to provide the default configuration for different types of portfolios. Also, depending upon each type of portfolio, portfolio managers need options to look at the data using different perspective, and hence portfolio backlog views are introduced. So let's look at the portfolio types and how it works. So this is very similar to concept as a project type or program type that you are familiar of. So portfolio admin will define the portfolio types, and there are some initial configuration or templates associated with the portfolio types. When a portfolio is created using this portfolio type, those all settings will be used by the portfolio. Portfolio type can be enabled or disabled, and the disabled portfolio cannot be used for further basically you cannot create a portfolio for a disabled portfolio type. So it's very similar concept. So here is a quick process. So portfolio administrators manage the portfolio types, and they define original portfolio types. And then the portfolio managers create portfolios and portfolio hierarchies using the sub portfolios, and they can control some of the features in the portfolios, and they also manage the portfolios. So here is a quick UI, how it looks. It's a portfolio type. You can see the list here. There are 3 tabs, general tabs and the portfolio security. In the general, you can give a portfolio name and the abbreviation, and it shows how it's going to look. In the tabs, these are possible options given, and then the portfolio administrator can choose which tabs are important based on the type of the portfolio. As I said, there are project, application, and lean portfolio management. Based on those types, he can choose which tabs are important, can be placed for this particular type portfolio. And then lastly is the portfolio security. As you are familiar with the security model for all PPM entities, you can have a security group or users defined for the portfolio security as well, who can have access to a particular portfolio. So this is now, we are going to talk about different types of portfolio. Portfolio type defines the templates for different portfolios. And let's look at, so this one is a project portfolio. As the name suggests, these are the portfolios. They are focused on portfolio value, risk, financial budgets, and contents for this specific type of portfolio are the lifecycle entities like projects, proposals, and asset. And here you can see that I'm looking at the portfolio overview page, where there are the portlet displayed, which look at the financial information for this project type of portfolio, and even the budget information for this portfolio. The next is the application portfolio type. The application portfolio is normally used by the IT departments, and it's basically saves the data about the application and the relationship between the applications. That's how, usually this is a list view for this portfolio. And lastly is the lean portfolio. As many organizations are now adopting agile methodologies, PMs are configure lean portfolios focused on strategy and guardrails. And the contents for this portfolio type are normally epics, and we'll see more details on that in the backlog section, basically. The next one I would like to talk, there are portfolio backlogs views, and product has basically provided now 4 different views to look at the portfolio backlog. So if you see there is a backlog is a tab in the portfolio, and you can see for all the 4 different types. The portfolio backlog is a separate tab, and the backlog shows all the contents of the portfolio in the desired format to have the holistic view. Also, using these different views, it helps organizations to ensure that the demand is aligned with the strategy and matches the actual capacity of the organizations. So we are going to look at this individual view, starting with the Plainlist view. So here is an example of the Plainlist view. If you see, it basically it lists all the contents in the list format here, but there are several tools on the right-hand side that you can use to customize the way you want. The first is the basically period. You can select the period. Then this stands for the columns. So all the columns shown here, you can change or pick or select from the list of the columns available. Also, you can move these columns around in the sequence that you want. There is a group by and a filter by capabilities. In this case, this list is a group by strategic themes. That's why you see the strategic theme first, and then there are portfolios under each strategic themes here. So that's why the grouping shows that way. And this screenshot basically shows the filtering capacity using the statuses. So it actually it's filtering only portfolios which are selected using this status field. And at the end, you can actually save this particular view if you plan to use it again and again as your favorite one. And you can always have list of those saved searches or save setup basically use under this star button. That's basically the list type of view. Just wanted to point out for the inline editing for the portfolio list view. So you can actually perform the inline editing for the list type of view. You have to select a row and then a particular column, and then you can select different values for that column right there. And then once you save it, you will see this message like this, that changes has been saved. So this is very convenient way of when you are actually viewing, if you want to make any changes to the portfolio contents or the statuses or something like that, you can do so. The next level, the next is the backlog, basically the hierarchical view, where in this hierarchical view, it basically shows the contents with all the hierarchical filters, and it shows all the ancestors in the hierarchy and other matching contents. I also wanted to point out here the different icons that you see here. Since this is a project portfolio, the contents are lifecycle entities, that is the sub portfolios, and then the lifecycle entities like project proposals or assets. And if you see, all the portfolios are basically colored with this purple color, and the yellow circles stand for the proposal, and the abbreviation inside those circles are actually these are the types. They are actually the initial of these types. Like for project PFM proposal, its abbreviation is PP. Then the blue are actually the project. These are the project types, and the abbreviation are for individual is defined inside that circle. Like for CMQC application is CA, the standard projects SP, and so on and so forth. The last one is the pink one, or the red one is actually the PFM asset, and the abbreviation says that PA, PA here. And this is all configurable. And to do this configuration the way you want, you can use you need to go to admin console and this icon customization, where you can actually use this table and select the abbreviation, select the entity and the abbreviation that you want. So this is very customizable, the way that works work for your organization. Just wanted to showcase that here. The next is the board view, or it represents the Kanban or the board view for the agile projects. It is also can be used as a two-dimensional view. It helps to show the work visible and understand the bottlenecks during the sprint planning. This is one of the very popular views for the agile methodologies, as it lists basically in the columns all these Kanban cards. And here you have option for the board view. You have option to change the board layout using this icon right here, where you can see the columns. The columns right here are selected as cost health. You can see as at risk, high risk, on track, so and so forth. And the swim lanes, which are actually the horizontal lanes, are selected as guardrail. And these are optional ones, but you can select it to basically have horizontal section in the columns. And it gives user portfolio managers can basically drag and drop while doing the when you have sprint planning, you can use this board and then use these Kanban cards to move between the swim lanes or between the the columns, and this is allowed using this UI. It has you can drag and drop with the cards. What it does is basically you can see basically what are the bottlenecks, and then the team can figure out how much contents they can confirm that they can deliver in that particular sprint. So it's very visual. It gives a nice visual effect, and helps a team to understand how much they are how much they can commit to. And the last is the portfolio backlog board overview. It's sorry, it's the last one is the roadmap view. It is basically the timeline view that you can see right here. There is a time bar which on the left, if you take it to the leftmost, it will show you the highest level of the view at the yearly level, and if you take it at the almost on the right, it will show at the day level. It will give you the visibility at the day level. Right now, in for this particular example, it's grouped by the strategic themes. That's why you see all the portfolios that belong to one strategic theme here, and the portfolio managers can get a very quickly overview of the period depending on the start time and the end time for that portfolio, and see the overlapping periods. It also shows the milestones information here with the statuses. The blue represents the milestones are on the track, and for red, I think they are delayed. So you can see that information as well on this UI. So those are the main 4 views, backlog views. So now let's talk about SAFE. As I discussed earlier, newly introduced features in Portfolio Management module is aimed at providing toolset that help organization become a lean enterprise and achieve business agility. The most important part is getting visibility at the portfolio level to fulfill the business objectives, and more organizations are interested in implementing scaled agile framework, and hence product has introduced a deployable content called as SAFE content bundle, which includes industry standard best practice process for SAFE 5.0. So if you see, this is a SAFE Lean Enterprise architecture diagram, and the top part is basically is addressed by the PPM module. That includes the portfolio backlog that we just talked about. The epic is the request, and that is delivered as part of this SAFE bundle. And I will talk about that little in the next slide. And then there are a few guardrails. The bottom part is basically can be implemented using Micro Focus Octane module. So here are the contents for the SAFE module. So it has the epic request type. Then there is a epic workflow, and there are few portlets available in the SAFE content bundle. The request type epic, as you can see, it has related fields in the header and details section, including the business case details. You have here a portfolio for that epic request type that epic belongs to. This is the underneath workflow, which is based on the SAFE best practices, which starts with the funnel, and it takes the epic until it's implemented. And you can see the details on the epic using this Kanban or the board view, in using the Kanban view or the board view. And these are the portlets regarding related to that, which are delivered as part of this content bundle, which shows as a planned epic summary, actual epic summary, and epic summary pivot table. Now let's talk about the Micro Focus Connect. Micro Focus Connect is a Micro Focus product. It's basically a middleware to do entity sync between the tools, but it doesn't store the data in itself. So Micro Focus Connect provides the out-of-box connectors to the popular toolset in the IT world. Having PPM connector for the Micro Focus Connect means the PPM can integrate to whatever tools that Micro Focus Connect is supported. So you can see that using the Micro Focus Connect, you can integrate the data between any of the Micro Focus tools like PPM, ALM, Octane, and others mentioned here, to or with any other third-party tools like a Jira, Rally, ServiceNow, Excel, anything like that. So it's very powerful tool, and it's basically there is a separate UI, and it helps you to configure those integrations so that you can integrate the data between these two any two applications basically. And the Micro Focus connector is available officially from 9.63, and it supports all request types. For the integration, it also supports the field types, that is with the text area, autocomplete lists, drop-down list, and the user fields, and it also supports the value mapping. Now, let's move to the next one, which is a PPM for mobile. As you might know, R&D has been working from last few releases to provide a new mobile app for PPM. It's written using Google PWA technology, which is a progressive web app, to provide a native app experience. So before going in more details, I would like to recap what was delivered in last few releases. So in 9.54, there was a new mobile, this new UI was delivered with a request app. In 9.54.55, it was there was a dashboard landing page delivered, as well as some of the request app enhancements. In 9.60, the timesheet approval application was delivered with some drill down portlets and support for the tablet. And in 9.64, after getting a lot of feedback from collecting all the feedback from a lot of customers and really putting a lot of effort and thought based on how the time chart submission needs to be built, R&D has delivered the time sheet submission app in 9.64 to complete this whole functionality. Now the whole functionality is complete now. So you can definitely use the mobile with all these features. So let's look at some of the comparison between the old mobile web client and the new mobile application for the PPM. In the older mobile web client, you could only basically add using the suggested items. You are not able to add using any type of work items apart from the suggested item, but that is that limitation is no longer correct and no longer there for the latest mobile app. So you can select any type, you can submit any work item. Then some organizations are very strict rules about the timesheet policies, and there were some limitations about those violation checks in the older one. But now it's completely in compliant with the latest mobile checks the all the constraints for the timesheet policies, and supports that. And the last is the context information. It's also supported in the latest mobile fully. So this is a quick overview for the mobile dashboard. You probably, some of you are already using it, so this is not a new thing. You can configure the basically portlet, and if you click on the each section, it will drill down to show you the details. To create timesheet, there are 3 ways, and this is how the UI looks on the mobile, where you can create user can create a timesheet from the scratch, or he or she can copy it from the last period, just the work items, or you can copy from the last period with all the contents as well, including the efforts. Here are the quick snapshot about how the My Timesheet looks. The app, the top part shows all the options that you can select, and the bottom part is the overview page on the mobile. Once you select the timesheet submission app, you will see it shows the first 15 records in the descending order, and each record has the efforts, then time period, and the status for it. This is the timesheet detail, which shows the effort bar on the top. And then there is a details over here. If you click on for the details, for the timesheet details, this is how the UI looks, with all the details, with actual effort, percentage complete, and there is a notes section also, but at the bottom. For the timesheet approval, this is how the UI looks. There is no time period constraint here right now, and you can filter by the resource or the time periods, and then you can select the timesheet that you would like to approve, and then approve as a one timesheet, or you can select multiple and approve multiple timesheet at the same time. There are few limitations as this slide shows, and this is also documented in the product documentation. So you may want to review it before using the mobile application. Now let's talk about the team management. So as most of the organizations are moving towards the agile methodologies, one thing, so instead of using the resource pool, we encourage or we recommend you to use the team management. So the process at the high level remains the same, where the project manager raises the for a project, it basically has a specific request for the resource demands, and it asks for the resources and sends the request to the resource manager. While resource manager is allocating the resources from the team, resources and capacity, the project manager breaks down the project into the task and estimate the task. And then once resource manager allocates the resources for the task, those are assigned to the task, and they then we can actuals can be tracked based on how resources complete the task. And at the end, you can see the project resource utilization. As most of the organizations are in the transition phase, going from a waterfall method to the new, adopting the new agile methodology, what we basically PPM does is allowing the teams to allocate the resources at the team level or at the individual level also. But if you would like to use this feature, you need to go first to the feature toggle in admin console and enable this particular option here. And then once you are in the work plan, you can see this team option. So you can actually assign a work to a team along with, if you want to, in the same work plan, if you have some other resources, but there is an option now to assign the work to the team. For heavy resource management customers, we recommend to use this team management to manage their resources. Team management has similar functionalities to resource pool management. It also leverages the data model as resource pool management. And you can transit to team management seamlessly. So team management offers better insight and visualization, similar to a portfolio backlog, and simplified processes. We add to the rich functionality already present in the team management module to encourage a seamless adoption. That's why we encourage adoption for it, and just wanted to showcase this the new demand tab that you will see in the team management. This is a new demand tab that speeds up both pre-project planning phase and allows for detailed work allocation during the execution phase of the project. So you can see all the positions right here related to the team, including parent-child teams. You can view the demand allocations by date. So as there is a time bar here, you can select the the time that you would like to see at the yearly level, quarterly level, or monthly level, or at the day level, and you can see all the allocations right here. There are also filter and group by capabilities, as I explained to you during the earlier during backlog, very similar to the what portfolio tools has. Their exact same tools right here for the team management as well. You can allocate, forward, or reject or promise individuals or a group of resources. You can also uh, perform copy and paste functions or select multiple items by clicking while holding down the shift key. So you can select multiple rows if you need to update at the same time. So that is really helpful feature while editing this demand. Now let's move to the next section, which is a dashboard improvements. So in last few releases, R&D has provided a lot of new features in the dashboard area, and this is how the dashboard improvements journey look. So in 9.55 release, as we discussed in the PPM mobile application, the mobile dashboard landing page was delivered. In 9.60, there are configurable dashboard landing page, and I'll be talking about it in just in the next slide. And also there are HTML plus portlets which are delivered, which are very useful and powerful portlet feature. In 9.61, there is a portfolio dashboard. So in the portfolio also, you can have your overview dashboard setup with the portfolio portlets, and that's delivered in 9.61. Then 9.62, there are self-service portlets. This is a new concept currently available for portfolio management and team management. So basically, you can, it's a very user-friendly way of creating your own portlet. So for that, the user do not need to have any coding experience, or they don't need to write any query. If they want to create their own portlet, there is a drag and drop feature available using which a user can create their own portlet. Currently, this feature is only available for portfolio and team management, but in the future releases, we'll see more regarding this for all possible all the modules, basically popular modules as well. And there is a team dashboard also available in from 9.62. And in the 9.60, the big one was the request dashboard. And I'll talk about that in detail. Also, there is a team out-of-box portlet, and some more chart types were delivered for the self-service portlet that was delivered in 9.62. So what is this configure? What is the new concept about the configure dashboard landing pages? So earlier, PPM administrator used to set a dashboard landing page globally, or user can select its own, or user's preference. But now there is a lot of flexibility given right here, that the PPM administrator can define in the configure landing pages a list of basically pages based on the modules and the security groups, and then it can define this app, whether it line applies to the mobile, desktop, or both, since there are mobile dashboards and then there is a desktop dashboard. And this is once this is set up, the way it works, it starts at the top. Basically, it starts at the top when a user first logs in, and basically these rules, they start at the top of the list. If user does not have access to the module specified in this list, then it goes to the next line. If the user is using a different device than defined here, then it goes to the next line. If the user belongs to any other linked security group or any other listed organization units, this particular page will be selected as the landing page for that user. But if none of these rules apply, and if you are at the end of the list is reached without any line is selected, then the first dashboard page of the user is selected, which is the old or default behavior for it. So it gives a lot of flexibility for PPM management to select the landing pages based on the security groups, as various security groups probably have different requirements. And this is how it works. The rules work. In addition to that, the users also have given a capability to have pick their own desktop or mobile landing page. And to do that, all the dashboard pages now have this icon. So if you select to make this page as a dashboard page, it becomes blue basically. And basically, if a user has selected any particular dashboard page as its own landing page, then it overrides any other landing page rule that is defined by the PPM admin. So now user can select whatever landing page he wants, and if he has not selected, then whatever the PPM management has set will be displayed based on the rules that I just explained. So this is very powerful and I think user-friendly feature. There are HTML Portlet got a new HTML editor, which is supported by all the latest web browsers now, and they are also have a better support for advanced HTML. So this code has a syntax color coding, so you can see basically it will show the syntax and phrases and other phrases in different color coding. Also for the HTML portlets, it has a better code editors now. Again, there is a color coding here also. The request dashboard I talked about earlier is basically demand management has been the most popular module of PPM, but for demand management, we did not have any dashboard. For most of the other modules, we do support the dashboard. From 9.63, we also have a dashboard for request if you would like to configure. And this is the performance for is like a PPM management setups request dashboard and used by the business user. And this might be ideal for some of the scenarios where when you want to showcase the summary report for that proposal or some high-level financial or resource data at the request level. And to do that, this is how it looks now. So it's very simple. You are very familiar with this left-hand menu. So there is an additional icon dashboard. And once the dashboard is configured, you will see it right here in the request. To set up the request dashboard, you can do that using the manage request types menu. But to do that, you need to have the edit or view request types grants associated with you, given to that user. And then you can select the dashboard here. You can add portlets once you enable that option, you can add portlets in this section, or you can also import a dashboard using the other request types, which are already set up, which already have the dashboard. Now let's talk about chatbot. PPM Chatbot is a feature. Once configured, user can interact with PPM via Microsoft Teams text communicator. Using this method, user can perform some tasks quickly, such as create specific request without logging in PPM instance. Chatbot is like having an assistant who can perform few tasks for you. Chatbot prompts for the required info, and the user needs to provide that relevant info on the chat. It checks the user security while creating that entity. And this is the first step towards incorporating artificial intelligence in PPM. So this is how these are the couple of scenarios for that. That a project manager, Joseph is a project manager who is actually on site with customer and going through a review meeting with the stakeholders where he realized one of the risks for the project. So instead of logging into the PPM, he actually has a team, Microsoft Team communicator open, and he can just add few phrases, and the chatbot can create a risk request in PPM based on the details that provided by the Joseph. Sophie is another case where she's very busy with her work or project deadlines, but she realizes at Friday late evening that she needs to submit a timesheet, and she uses the team communicator and ask Chatbot to create one timesheet for her based on, just copy the last week's and make some changes to that. She can do that. So this is a quick process how it works. That PPM users, basically it says that there is a project risk, create a project risk. Then the Microsoft in the Microsoft team using the natural language processing tool translates the natural language into the structured data, and using the report type special command API, the PPM chatbot basically sends the information back to user to ask more details, and eventually once user provides that, he can create that project risk request for him. As I said, it saves user time, and it's very customizable framework that you can use. I know we have only a few minutes left, so there are lots of enhancement requests that are delivered as part of this the 9.6 releases. And there are total 54 enhancement plus across all the modules. I don't think we have time to go through all of them, but they are listed here, and they're listed in all the release notes as well as the documentation. So please go through those details, and we can sync later on if need any additional details for that. But first, I would like to thank all the customers, because these ERs are mostly customer driven, and since you are submitting the ideas in the idea exchange, R&D was able to review them, prioritize them, and deliver them in these releases, and they are really helpful for the customers. Along with the ERs, we are also delivered some of the accessibility improvements, and those are very crucial enhancement for some of the government firms or some other organization as well. And it seems that customers are very happy to have those enhancements done in the 9.63. And with that, I'm almost at the end of my presentation. But if you need any information, there are online resources that you probably are already aware. There is an online documentation, release notes, what's new, and there are some videos. But please feel free to contact SaaS TSC or CSM team, and we'll be more than happy to have more information provided, any of the features presented or the ERs. We can discuss that in more detail. And with that, I think we have maybe last couple of minutes for Q&A session.
Thank you, Chitra. Thank you for that presentation. I know we went through a lot of material, and thank everyone who is hanging with us. We are down to just a couple of minutes, but let's see if we have any questions out there. Again, use your chat if you have any questions about the presentation. I did get a couple. Let me share them with you. Is the SAFE bundle deployed as part of the 9.6 upgrade?
A good question. The SAFE bundle is not automatically deployed as part of the upgrade, but you can certainly request it. You just need to create a ticket, and then SaaS team can basically deploy that for your environment, and you can test it out. We'll start with dev test prod basically.
Great. And the another question that came in: what's the difference Agile SDK Connect? What's the difference between the Agile SDK connectors and the MF Connect connector? Correct.
Good question again. Agile SDK connectors are and MF Connect, they're basically they integrate between they provide the integration solution for multiple applications, but they are built on completely separate technologies, where Agile SDK is basically it's built in within the PPM, where the MF Connect is a separate product. MF Connect supports more applications than Agile connectors, Agile SDK connectors, and for some of the Agile SDK connector also you need to create. Sometimes you have to have a custom code development, where the MF Connect provides you easy user interface to configure the integration between Micro Focus products or in third-party tools, and basically have seamless integration. It also has some additional connections, like for ServiceNow, you don't have any Agile SDK connector currently, but you can do that connect. If you want to integrate PPM and ServiceNow, you can do that using the MF Connect connector.
All right, great, thank you. And I think that Patrick O'Malley did have a question. Is there a plan to allow private dashboards or portlets to share with others?
I mean, currently you can have your modules, right? You can publish modules, or you can have your private dashboards also, private pages also. Maybe I misunderstood the question if it did not answer this question.
Okay.
But we can
Patrick?
certainly follow up. Whoever asked the questions, please reach out to me, and I can provide more information if I misunderstood your question.
Right. All right. At this time, I don't see any further questions. And so we're just about a couple of minutes above the time. We want to respect everybody's time. We apologize again for the technical difficulty we had this morning. We will work to resolve this in the future. But thank you all. Hope this was a good use of your time, and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you all. Thanks for